What's happening, everybody? Happy 6th of July, or maybe if it's evening time. No, actually, it's probably 6th of July everywhere in the world, I guess, by this time. We got a few interesting guests today. A couple that you have never met before, and of course, I can see in the comments a lot of you guys are excited to have Coach back. You know, who doesn't like someone that gives it to us straight, you know? And so, of course, I just came across this ridiculous. Actually, this let's just show you this because it's that was hilarious. Let's share this right here. How about let's.
Crypto people, when Bitcoin drops $1,000. Crypto people, when Bitcoin goes up $500. Emotional people, get wrecked. Try to keep yourself in check.
Oh, coach. All right, guys. Let's see. So let's remove that and remind you guys that we have a massive giveaway right now. We are getting new projects every single week that come and are kind enough and generous enough to contribute to this massive giveaway. And if you're new to this show, Crypto Connoisseurs, all you have to do is like, subscribe, and share, and be a consistent participant and active viewer, subscriber, and just enjoy, learn, listen, participate. And you know, when this value gets above $1 million, and believe me, this is going to crank past $1 million as soon as we start to see another alt season start to pick up, because we have already 10, 12, 22, 27, 37, 39, what is that? 40, 51, 61, 71, 81, 94 and a half, 105, 100 and almost $106,000 in private sale allocations to incredible projects, you know, and these projects are very, very good. You know, we talked about them before. You've got HoDooi and Polytrade, Finance, Ally, Pera Finance, Formation, EmiSwap, Omni, Plutos, Bright Union, Decubate, and Demodyfi. Guys, these are great projects, and like, you know, just to be able to get an allocation to private sale opportunity of these is something that, you know, most people don't have access to. And, you know, we are giving you guys over $105,000 already into private sale allocation. Some of this is seed round, some of it is a private round, but the fact is that all of it is far below, you know, the public sale price. And these are often these are exactly the terms that, you know, VCs and private investors get into. And this is something that, you know, we will be giving away. And this is just the beginning. You know, we have a lot more projects on the roster that will be contributing. And I'm guessing that we should have 30 projects or so over the next 3 months that are giving it away. And, you know, I would love to see this. You know, above you know, a couple $1 million. And so I need all of you guys, because also we're going to have to make sure that we have a large subscriber and viewer count, right? To make sure that we continue to get people that want to contribute to this giveaway. They're going to want to see an audience. And so we're going to have to grow this channel. And so also down below, there is a link to a GLEAM campaign, you guys. And there's a way that you can be entered for in a separate GLEAM campaign competition to be part of one of the buckets that we will be giving away. All you have to do is go down look in the description below, click that link, participate in the GLEAM campaign, and help us spread the word and earn your opportunity to be part of this massive giveaway. And I want to acknowledge, so from this point on, I want to acknowledge the projects that were kind enough to donate allocation and tokens to you guys, to viewers, the audience. And so tonight we have a very special guest, and this is the project Decubate, which I am a huge fan of. You know, Elliot, the CEO, is an incredible entrepreneur, and so far they are the largest contributor, $13,500 at private sale allocation for you guys, and they're launching tonight. They just did their IDO on Ignition, sold out very quickly, and launching with initial market cap of $127,000. So, you know, this is a launch pad of launch pads. Basically, you know, you have launch pads that launch utility tokens, right? And then you also have now, for the first time in our space, a launch pad that's going to focus on projects that are non-crypto projects by tokenizing them and helping with incubation and actually launching them. So I think this is incredibly unique. Let's get on the show, Elliot. I know he's busy. You know, he's launching his project tonight and on BSC and PancakeSwap. So let's give him a few minutes to talk about his project, tell you guys what it is, and then I know we got to let him out of here because he's busy launching a project tonight. I know how much work he must be going through right now. So Elliot, welcome, and thanks for being here, and thanks for your contribution, man. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, I told you the first time you told me about this giveaway, I said, like, I mostly stay to you with the great ideas, like, yeah, you should do it. So yeah, thank you for having me. So as you know, today we are launching Decubate, which is well, not just it's not a launch pad, it's an incubator where we're going to focus on actually like traditional companies, Web2 companies. We're going to help them onboard actually the entire blockchain process of tokenization into a Web3 company. Where we actually came from is I've been in the market since 2016. I've been investing also in the ICO boom in 2017. And after discovering, well, I mean, Ethereum and everything that happened there, I decided to dedicate actually my life towards the blockchain innovation and everything that is happening within the space, because I firmly believe that this is going to be one of the greatest things in our generation, you know. So looking back at it, it's like connecting all the dots that brought me here, you know, being working into also big brokers and also exchanges, being a listing manager. And something that always frustrated me was also in the ICO boom of 2017 was a lot of these blockchain companies, well, as we've seen after 4 years, a lot of them have failed actually even to deliver a product. And once they also deliver a product, I mean, the hard part of it is actually getting like the user base and getting the company actually to be self-sustainable. And we kept seeing this over and over, and also in 2020 and 2021. And then like the question popped up, like, why are we focusing too much on only blockchain companies? Why not focus on traditional companies that already have a broken product and already a business model, already a use case with users and everything, and just introduce them to tokenization of things, and then let them hire like an MVP, which is a minimum viable team that can basically reproduce what we are doing. So, and not to speak about the hardships of entrepreneurship. I mean, Kyle, you know it better than anyone, I guess, being an entrepreneur also most of your grown life. So that said, I mean, the click was there for Decubate, and I've looked for it, and I haven't seen any other incubator doing the same thing. And well, once it clicked, I immediately said to my previous work, okay, I found my mission in life, and we're just gonna go for it. And then the more I started talking about it to other people, the more we grew. So now within Decubate, we are more than 20 people, professionals. We picked up really the rockstar team or the all-star teams to actually bring this forward, because we do know it's a humble vision. It's a lot, you know, it's a $3 trillion business, actually, startup companies across the world. But yeah, the people that we have hired, and also my background, we are well equipped also within our network to actually make this possible. And as you said, I mean, we are launching tonight, but it's all going well. So yeah, I feel like I'm talking too much, Kyle. So if you have any questions or whatnot.
No, man, no. It's actually you know, I think that the timing is quite interesting, right? Because, and I'll bring on Coach and Ronnie to kind of, you know, we'll have a little bit of a discussion about this for a second. And everybody, welcome Coach and welcome Ronnie. And I'm really actually, you guys all know Coach. He's incredibly famous. He's so famous that he has his shades now, and you know, like iconic, stunner. And then. And Ronnie, I'm really glad to have you here. Thank you for coming on and joining us. For those of you, if you don't know Ronnie, you know, he's got the largest Spanish YouTube channel, and I'm particularly interested in getting his opinion tonight on everything that's going on in Latin America. And because, you know, Latin America has always been known, you know, as long as I've been in crypto, as like the Bitcoiner, you know, kind of like true ethos, because, you know, for all of us privileged white people who don't, you know, have been privileged enough to easily get a bank account or have a currency that isn't debased like crazy, you know, we like Bitcoin and crypto as it's a nice to have, but it's not a need to have, you know. But the folks down in Latin America, you know, they understand how much it is a need to have, and so we're definitely going to get into that on this episode. But before we send Elliot on his way. And because I know that he's got a lot to do, I do want to bring up this issue of tokenization from an equities perspective or securities perspective, because, you know, a company that I invested into, you know, many years ago, Securitize, from what I just read, they had a huge investment from, I don't know if it was Fidelity or someone like that. And so that kind of gives you, you know, perspective that this is, you know, we now have validation from, you know, one of the largest, I don't know, Coach, do you remember who it was who made this investment in Securitize? But it was some recent news and it was massive.
Goldman, I'll check. Hold on.
Yeah, maybe it was Goldman. I don't know, but you know, in 2018, late 2017, 2018. Oh, no, actually, no, it's 2018. You know, at crypto conferences, the word on the street was, you know, ICOs are dead, STOs are the new thing, and the whole industry expected STOs to boom in 2018, and it just didn't go anywhere. It makes, you know, the concept makes perfect sense from so many different perspectives, right? Allows you to basically crowdfund, you know, the same way that you would an ICO, but from a regulated perspective. You know, not every single company or project needs to be decentralized or needs a token, right? And I'm a firm believer in don't have a token if you don't have a use case for it, you know. And so, but you're right, Elliot. There aren't any, you know, there's companies like Securitize that focus on helping you tokenize the equity or shares in your company, but as far as I'm concerned, I don't know any incubator that is supporting projects in that stage, you know, of getting going and showing them the ropes. You know, I helped a project to do a STO. Well, actually, it was out of my hands, but I know it's a lot of work. You know, I mean,
it's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting what we can learn from that, from the SEO, because I do remember that very well when in 2018 we all expect, well, STOs is going to be the greatest thing. You know, I also started working like with this new broker, and that was also like a big mission of ours. Like, you know, STOs is going to be the greatest thing, and we also pumped a lot of money into projects that were focusing on that. But looking back at it, you know, especially for the subgroup that we are, you know, as crypto industry, you know, it's still very immature. Well, I don't want to say immature, but it's in the beginning, you know. You notice that a lot of people, like, they like actually the utility of the token. They like to possess something that they can utilize right away. And we also see that this is something that actually a lot of projects that are coming out right now, a lot of them, when they are failing, is when a lot of people are holding the token and they cannot utilize it within their platform right away because people are extremely impatient, right? But the same thing goes then for STOs. Just to give an example, of course, I'm all into stocks and that kind of thing. And Binance launched the token stocks, you know. And at some point, like, it was so confusing for me because I just want to buy a stock, after 6 o'clock, and then it's like, it's closed, and then you buy the stock and then, okay, what can I do with it now? Can I stake it? Can I do this? You cannot do a lot with it. And I do understand the value of it and that kind of stuff. But I think for our subgroup, we really want to have kind of the utility or let's say the magic behind actually a token where you can use it within a platform and actually do all this kind of things. And especially like what you said, Decubate is focusing on traditional companies, and definitely the utility behind the token to introduce that to the company is the highest priority that we have, next to, of course, the credibility of the company itself.
Yeah. So here you have it. Morgan Stanley backs blockchain with investment in securitized, right? So this is big news. I mean, it's huge. I mean, this is exactly. I mean, so Elliot, like, and I'm a big believer in timing, right? So, like, in 2017, I thought about launching an ICO, and one thing I've learned as an entrepreneur, like I'm very forward thinking. I tend to look at where trends are going and see ahead of the curve. But in my early entrepreneurial days, I was always way ahead of, like, I was too early, and they always say things about entrepreneurship is like. You could have the best idea in the world, but if it's too early, it's just not going to get taken, And so I think the timing's right now for what you're doing. I'm really glad to be a supporter, an investor, advisor in your project. Thank you for coming on. Really appreciate it, and good luck tonight. And look forward to having you back on the show quite soon.
Definitely, yeah. Sorry, it's got to be short, guys. I got to do other stuff, Coach K. And Ronnie, talk to you soon. And Kyle, thank you so much for having us. It's an honor to have you in our project, and really looking forward to see where this is going. It's going to be an amazing journey.
My pleasure, man. Have a good one, and talk to you soon. Cheers. Bye-bye. Right. All right, guys. So Ronnie, tell us a little bit about, you grew up. Where did you grow up?
Yeah. I was born in East Germany in a socialist country. So, yeah, this was a very, very difficult environment to grow up. I think you all remember there were two Germanys. There was divided. So there was the East part, the socialist part, and then the West part. I came from the East part, from the socialist part, and there was a lot of restrictions. So you grew up and you never had any, or you thought you will never leave this country, this system, So then we all know the wall come down and the world opened for me. And for me, it was always clear I wanted to travel. I want to get to know many different places. As a kid, thought I can never do this, So, and then when I grew up, I started to travel. I used to live in Spain, in Ibiza. I used to live in Mexico and Costa Rica and Panama. I was in Thailand also a lot of time. And I traveled around the world. And in 2016, I started to see very late. Yeah, but then I got to know Bitcoin. And I was really
Where were you when you discovered Bitcoin?
I was in Germany. Then I came back already. 2016, I went back to live in Germany. Then I started to start over again, everything in my life. And then I just opened a normal, regular company. And but it was not. I thought there must be something different, because if you have a normal company, you have to have trouble with clients, you have trouble with invoices, you have trouble with accountants. And I say, no, that's not for me, Then I start to research the internet, and I saw Bitcoin. I said, oh, what's this? So, and I knew, oh, wow, this will be a big thing. And I started to invest. I started to research about it. And there was, in 2016, there was not so much good information, reliable information. And there was also, it was hard to get inside the crypto space. Today, you just open an account, you take your credit card, you buy crypto. This was different in these times, so it was a little hard for me to come inside the crypto space.
And Ronnie, where are you now?
I'm now in Mexico.
And what is the what does the environment feel like? And we've heard a lot of news coming out of South America. You know, I mean, it's actually, you know, it's actually quite incredible what's going on down there. And so is there any, you know, is that Latin, you know, for this coming on, like it's all Latin America, right? But is there any type of correlation or anything going on from what's happening down south coming up into Mexico?
Yeah, because look, when I started to open my YouTube channel, then I saw there's a lot of information in English and in German as well, you know, but there's almost nothing in Spanish. So then I said, okay, why not spread content in Spanish? And you have to see all the environment that you was talking about. It's really, really amazing for crypto. It's bad for people, but it's amazing for crypto. Why? Because they have so bad politics here. They have so bad governments. They are not really able to create good environments for entrepreneurs. You know, there's so much inflation. I was researching, if you took $10,000, let's say 5 years ago, you changed it to Bitcoin, to Argentinian pesos, or to Venezuelan Bolivar, you would get today for the Argentinian pesos around $79 back. And for the Venezuelan Bolivar, you would get, like, I think it's 12 cent from $12,000. So that you can imagine how is the inflation here in Latin America, and why are people so excited about Bitcoin? It's not inflating but deflating, you know. So
yeah,
perfect environment.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, I mean, this is why I have a hard time. I mean, we watch things like, you know, I mean, let's just check this out for a second.
Here, in the only El Salvador, for the last 18 months or so, the tiny surf town of El Zonte has been running an experiment with Bitcoin. 3,000 people live here, and the only ATM in town is a Bitcoin ATM. Just before the president's announcement, I headed to El Zonte to see how Bitcoin is changing the community. This is Milton Cabrera. He's a construction worker in El Zonte.
Si lo recibo en cash, en mis manos, se gasta rápido. En cambio, si lo recibo en Bitcoin, puedo sacar lo que necesito y dejo aguardado un poco.
Are you worried that you're going to lose all your money? Because tomorrow the price of Bitcoin could go to zero.
Tal vez sí, pero igual en la forma de que uno ha conocido Bitcoin, se pone a estudiarlo, de tarde o temprano va a bajar, de tarde o temprano va a subir.
So I thought that was pretty incredible. And last week on the show, I had Carl on, and, you know, talking about from the moon, and you know, we were talking about El Salvador, and I asked the question, and I didn't fully comprehend the story of what was going on in El Salvador yet with Strike, and I didn't realize, I did not realize just how far along Lightning Network was, and how it was being used in every single day. I mean, like, clearly people that are making such a low salary could never afford, you know, to do transactions on chain on layer 1 with Bitcoin. But you know, I was uninformed at that point, and I found out quickly after that, you know, that the Lightning Network is very prominent down there. But one thing I want to go to, and a lot of people who are watching this, I'm sure, want to know, you know, Coach, like, what's going on right now? We've been bouncing back and forth. You know, it seems like the range, you know, at first we were bouncing from 29 to 42, and we've been going sideways, bouncing back and forth like a bouncing ball for the past, you know, 3-4 weeks. All I hear from the TA guys is, well, we're about to have something big happen. It's either going to go up or it's going to go down. And
I can share with you where I'm seeing things, because really,
please do.
Really, honestly, there's not too much difference from last week. Things are very similar. They're still in the range. So if you want to share that screen, I'll show you. We're just in a tighter range now. The volume is dried up. So basically what's happened is, like, we were in this big range. We're coming up and coming down, basically between 39 and 37 and 40. Between, basically, the real big range is between 39 and about 30. And so it's gone down and up in that range. And basically I told everyone, every time it enters in this zone, just buy here. Every time it gets above into this level, sell. That's what I do. I mean, anyone else can do whatever they want. If they don't know how to trade, you shouldn't take this advice because it's not advice and it's what I'm doing. And if you don't know how to trade, you're probably going to lose money. So just as reality, just keep that in mind. But if you're trading within this range, right now we're just really tight. It's been 7 days, 8 days in this small tight range between 36 and about 33. So we're really kind of tightening up. As you can see down here, our volume went down and dropped off. What we're waiting for now and what I want to see if we would get bullish, you see this horizontal line? This is my like plus or minus 1 or 2 days, 3 days on either side when we need to finally break up. If we're going to break up and we're going to have the bull market continue through the end of the year, we're probably going to do something that goes like this, breaks up, retests, breaks up and down, and then by around this time, somewhere in this range, we're going to break into the cloud. So what generally happens after we break in the cloud is we go and we complete an edge-to-edge trade. And what that means, it's a macro shift in momentum, meaning we're bearish now. If we break through the cloud and we come on the top of it, we have created a macro change in what we're seeing in the market movement, meaning we're bullish now from bearish. So a lot of people really want to find where we're going to be bullish. This may not happen though, and that's the reality. But what I'm seeing on 4-hour charts, and I'll show you guys a few of them, Bitcoin doesn't really show the story. But on alts, we're starting to see a lot more bullishness. We're starting to see a little bit from Kusama. So Kusama popped into the cloud. We call this an edge-to-edge trade. It's a very high probability, this is one of those trades where you enter and you have such a high amount of profitability that it makes sense to just do it. You know what I mean? So I go in these types of trades because I know that if I enter here, and even if I entered here right now where it's at, even enter here, it's still a 3.5-hour trade. This means that if I risk $100 of loss, I'm making $350 of gain. Means it's a good trade. And what you can do is you can go on the 4-hour chart and check this out. You're going to see several different charts that look very similar. So here we have Kumo breakout trades. So you're seeing that we're breaking above the cloud. So on the counter trend. So just to explain this, on our daily chart is our macro trend, our big trend. When we go down to the 4-hour chart, we're looking for a midterm trend, and we look to see that change first before we see the macro change. So what we're seeing is the BNB has broke out. It's going towards this $304, $303 level. That's where it would retest. That's where I would generally enter, and I'd enter because we have a bullish above the cloud, a bullish Kumo twist, a bullish TK cross. So these are all reasons for me to enter this trade. Plus, if it comes down to this level, it has the Tenkin, the 21 EMA, and the Kumo top. So there's a lot of support there, a lot of reason for it to bounce from that level. And we're seeing this not just on BNB, we're seeing this on on AVAX, we're seeing this on ADA, we're seeing this on EGLT. So we're starting to see macro moves from blockchain specific projects. So things that have their own chain seem to be more bullish on a shorter time frame. Daily time frame, still quite bearish, way below the cloud. But we're starting to see slowly that change. Now, the one thing I'll caution you on as a trader is that this is, when we go on a 4-hour chart, this is our secondary chart, meaning it's lower probability. So if we're only trading on 4-hour, but our daily is really bearish and our 4-hour is really bullish, either we're going to make a really great trade and it's going to turn into a bullish market on a daily, or it's going to go go against you like it did here and it's going to reject. So you have to be really careful in this time. If you're not a trader like myself, don't trade. This is probably the best advice you could ever get from any trader. Yeah. Don't trade when the market is choppy. When you're not a professional trader, when you don't know how to scalp, don't trade. It's as simple as that. Leave your funds in whatever assets you want, whether it's Bitcoin or USDT, and wait for the market to come to you. Really important. And we're seeing this with ETH. I talked about ETH this morning in my club.
I was going to ask you about ETH because I've been seeing a lot of discussion right now about ETH and what is it, EIP 1552 or whatever, 59 or something.
Yeah,
59.
I think it's 59. Now, one thing I'll caution people with ETH, and I'm looking on a 12-hour chart, so this is a lot more of a macro level than it would be on a 4-hour. So this is just cutting the day in half. So 2 candles per day. What I'm seeing on the 2 candles today is that it's very likely that we take this level, this Tenkin, this 200 EMA as I've wrote down here, and it's likely to reject. And what we see normally in the cloud is it rejects, it bounces down the cloud, and then it pops in a little bit later. I'm really, really expecting for this market, if it does turn bullish, to turn bullish somewhere between like the 17th and the 25th of July. That week will be the week where if we are going to really turn bullish, that'll be the week I'm really going to look for those types of opportunities, because if we do go bullish, we'll make a lot of money in a very short amount of time, as you know, with Bitcoin. And the last piece I'll leave you with before I leave is that Bitcoin dominance, if this starts to moon, okay, then you have something to worry about if you're an alts. Because if Bitcoin dominance pops into the cloud, like I just showed you guys, generally it rides down the cloud till it flattens out a bit and it pops in. When that happens and we pop in this cloud and we have all the situations, we have a bullish TK cross, we're above the candlesticks on the Chiku. If we pop into there, very likely you'll see Bitcoin go on another run, but your alts get absolutely destroyed against BTC. So what my plan is personally is when I see this really give some force and some volume, as you can see right here, the volume's shit. But when I see this volume start to increase with that, I am going to put a lot of my assets, a lot of them, even alts that I have that I'm holding, into Bitcoin, because I know when it does that, very likely it's going to come all the way back up to 50%. And in that time, Bitcoin will be at a new all-time high. Alts will be wrecked against BTC. But if you're holding alts, they'll still be up in USDT value if that happens. So those are the positives of all the situations. But this is what I would personally do as a trader. So that's where we're at. And the thing is, on the 4-hour chart, it's a positive for all of us that I've been super negative and bearish, but the 4-hour charts are starting to show some types of macro or midterm trend change, which is a positive for all of us. And we should be looking at that and going, it's not so horrible. It's not such a bad situation as it was last week, where I was or 2 weeks ago, where I was mega bearish because there was no reason to be bullish. Now we have a little bit of a reason, and you guys now know what to look for. So keep your eyes on Bitcoin dominance chart. If it pops up and starts to go up, you're probably going to see this chart on the 4-hour start to get very bullish and start to break up towards this zone around $40,000. So that's where we'll go next if we break up. And that's what you should be looking for. And why I focus on BTC and ETH is because they are the kings until they're not.
That's where all institutional money is, right?
That's where big money.
Do you ever focus on on-chain analysis?
Of course,
because we have this, and I thought this was was very interesting as far as we just had this. I don't know if people could see here on the screen, but we had the number of whales seriously accumulating at the end here, the end of the chart. There's this huge little spike, which starts to show some inflows from whale holdings. And, so I'm wondering if this is if this has kind of made a change in the direction that we're heading. If there's any indication here for where, everyone that I watch that does TA, when they talk about, we're kind of forming into this triangle and we're going to soon have an break up or break down. I wonder, I think that
OnChain Data tells me a lot. I think I'm one of the only YouTubers that actually has someone who specifically is a professional at OnChain Data and not just looking at Glassnode, because Glassnode Data is skewed, in my opinion, because a long-term holder to them is half a year. That doesn't count to me in crypto, and neither does it count to you, Kyle. So we all know if we've been here long enough, someone who's held for a year is not a long-term holder. So the Glassnode data is a little off. So I use my buddy War, and he really breaks down what the data is. And the data has been showing us since we basically started getting towards the top, the retail were really the ones pushing us towards between 40 and 60. They were the ones who pushed us all the time from 40 to 60. And I actually have this, I can share it with you later. But basically, all the time from 40 to 60, the big time, long-term 2-3 year holders were starting to sell. And you could see that they were selling. And so you'd see on the chart a down and a retail spike. And that happened the whole way up. Guess what happened when we dumped? it completely flopped. So when it dumped, guys like myself and Kyle were like, wicked, cheap Bitcoin, finally, we've been waiting for so long. We buy it 30,000. We buy it 31. We buy it 30. We buy it 40 even. And we watch it go up and we buy and we sell then too. We're buying. So all the whales, all the people that have capital are buying Bitcoin, right? And guess what happens 2 days later? 2 days later, retail goes, shit, Bitcoin's going up. Awesome. Let's start pumping it in. And guess what happens the very next day? The whales dump. Well, watch what happens tomorrow. Every Wednesday for the last 5 weeks, whales have dumped on Wednesday. They have dumped on Monday, pumped on Tuesday, dumped on Wednesday. Watch this happen tomorrow. It very likely will happen yet again, just like it happens every single Sunday for 4.5, I think it's 5 weeks now. We've had every Sunday dump, every Saturday pump. Start to learn those trends. Buy on Saturdays, sell on Saturday night, short on Sunday. And I swear to God, it sounds crazy. And this is all I'm doing. It's like I've taken maybe 12 or 13 trades. 3 have lost. Everything else is hit just because I'm not taking tons of trades. The trades are there when they're there. Don't try to trade them when they're not there. And that's the problem is a lot of people are watching YouTube. I want to make money every single day. Guess what? You want to make money every day? Put your money in a VC fund that makes you money every day, that gives you 30% of the gains that they make, and then you're happy. That's what you have to do. Or put your money in Yield App or Orbit or whatever else to get your 20% a year. Don't gamble. Because if you try to gamble and you're trading against me, I guarantee you 90% of the time you're going to lose. And 90% of the time, I'm going to have more money than you do. And at the end of the day, you're going to lose more money than I do. And so that's just me being confident. But the point is that's the fact. 97% of you that trade against me will lose. 3% of you will beat me. And that's because I know I'm a professional trader and I don't lose more than 60% on average. Meaning that if I make 100 trades, I hit 60. And if I hit 60 at 3x of what I'm losing when I'm losing 40, it's very hard for me to lose even on a shitty money. But that's the thing, right? I don't make it emotional. The market's bearish because the TA told me it was. The market's bullish because the TA. I don't care if the market's bullish from my perspective. Me and you, Kyle, we're the same. We talk, we go, and we chill. We'll talk about Bitcoin for like 6 hours straight. We love Bitcoin. We love the fundamentals. But I'll keep it real and say, yeah, it's probably going to come down now. I'll buy it, and it'll go back up. You have to be like that. What about you, Ronnie?
So,
I want to know what Ronnie thinks about that.
Yeah,
give it to us, Ronnie.
Absolutely. What you say, the whales are always dumping the price when retail is coming in and everybody's excited. But that's the game. If you just look at the chart from the last 12 years, it's always the same. Retail comes in, pump the price, whales dump it, and retail leaves the market with lost and maybe never come back. But there's more retail, comes in, pumps the price, whales dump. So it's not very difficult to understand this. So the people just must be educated, as you say. You as a professional trader, the most people, they trade. They are not professional traders. They just lose money. They can win maybe a week, 2 weeks, or whatever. But on the long run, they just lose. That's why I also started a little bit of trading and make some money. But I saw, and that's what I show in my channel to the people. If you're not a professional trader, don't do it. Just buy and hold. If it's go down, buy more. It goes down, buy even more. But don't trade. Don't try to do it. You will lose your money. And that's what I tell people.
Kyle, share my screen for a quick sec. I just want to show people metrics that we do with my channel. So here's some examples of this. Now, this is a little bit older data. So, we haven't done this on my channel for a week because my guy is actually changing jobs into crypto, which is awesome. But what I noticed here is right here on the 89%. The one thing that you guys have to understand, when we top on average, we hit that 95 percentile, meaning what that means is that 95% of all Bitcoin held by anyone is by new wallets from a year or less. We are at 89%. That's why people are saying we might have a last push. That last 6% is a lot of money. You may not realize that. But here's the key pieces I wanted to show you. So who is selling and why? So new wallets are selling as the price comes down. They're buying as after the price goes up. But what else do we see? We see who is selling at a profit and at a loss. Well, what we know is that generally the people that are taking profit here bought down here. Who are those people? Those people, and on the far left is the people that are retail. The middle are the people that are 1 to 2 year holders, and 2+ year holders we call OGs technically. But what we can see is the trend. The market dumps here. Retail sell at a loss. Whales buy. The market's still down. Whales buy, retail sell at a loss. Guess what happens the next day? Whales buy. Midterm holders sell at a loss. Retail also buy because it's gone up. Guess what happens the next day? Whales are still buying. And you know what? The whales have been continually buying little by little by little by little this whole entire time. Even though I don't have the data for the last 7 days, they've continued to buy this whole entire time. So the data is telling us that whale wallets are increasing. The new wallets are the ones that are decreasing in the amount of Bitcoin, and very likely, if we're going to have another pop, it will have to be at the end of this month. The end of this month is such a big point for all of us. We need to be very cognizant that the end of this month, while we're bored and the market's not doing that much, something is coming. A lot of traders talk about it. They don't know if it's going up or down. Right now, my perspective is that we're very likely to go up based off of the 4-hour chart. But that can change in like the next 2 days. That's the truth. And so I know that's like, okay, coach, well, then you're saying both sides. Right now I'm saying I'm bullish for the short term. For the large picture, I'm still quite bearish until we see macro changes, which means daily changes in the market structure, which we haven't seen for a while.
Let's talk about fundamental macro changes. There's a lot of weird shit going on in the world right now, man. I mean, it is completely, everything's flipping upside down. You know, you've got things like you've got things like India, you know, Coinbase moving into India, you know, with India always saying they're going to ban Bitcoin, which, you know, confuses the hell out of me. You've got, you know, you've got places like Wyoming, which we know have always been, you know, one of the most supportive United States for supporting things. And I thought this was huge news, you know, supporting, recognizing legally the first DAO, which, I mean, we can get into an entire show on why a recognition of a DAO is extremely important. You know, I mean, one of the things that I thought about, you know, instead of having Master Ventures Fund be a regulated normal fund, was running it in a DAO structure. And so now this is something that a lot of people are going to be looking into. And I'm really, you know, as much as I try to stay away from the United States, at least one state within the United States is doing something in the correct direction. You've got some places like China, United States, Vietnam, you know, who are all going for the central bank digital currency, but then places like El Salvador and Panama and you know, these guys doing Bitcoin as a recognized national currency, you know, and then we have things like everybody ganging up on Binance all of a sudden. Like, that's crazy, right? I mean, there's so much.
Did you not expect that to happen, Kyle? Like all the OGs I know that at least are Chinese, they do not like Binance, man. They have had a thing against Binance for years. They've said they're going to take Binance down. And I was like, why? And they were like, because we don't like CZ having so much control. The big thing with the OGs that they don't like about CZ is that he has too much control over the whole entire industry. And so I think, yes, regulators are definitely like, well, he's the main figurehead of the industry. We should go after him. I think there's also like OGs being like, yeah, let's get rid of CZ. We want him out. And I've always wondered why, because I feel like he does a lot of good for this space. But at the same time, like, you know, Binance has been like the Robin Hood, the screw you guys, we're not following your rules type. And I think that long term that could hurt them. And so it's definitely a topic for discussion, but people saying that Binance stuff in UK is FUD, it's not FUD. That's a fact. They are banning Binance accounts from doing anything with fiat currencies. In Barclays Bank, apparently there's other banks as well. So I would say that they're
it's funny that I think it's funny you've got you know, all these banks that have been proved, like have been fined for money laundering before, you know, pointing the fingers, now saying that these guys are money laundering. And it's, you know, like, motherfucker, you have been money laundering and proven. And you know, it's crazy on a massive level. These banks are the biggest criminals of everybody in the world. You know, what is it, like UBS just got caught like money laundering for cartels, and all they had to do was pay a very small percentage of the money they actually made. It's a tax, and it's so ridiculous. You know, it's why there's so much inequality in the power structures in the world that have been so powerful for so long. Like they can do they're the biggest cartels in the world.
Did you see the Berkshire Hathaway guys talk about how they loved how China can silence Jack Ma, and like the fact that and they didn't say it exactly like this, but they basically implied that they loved that China could silence Jack Ma, that they loved that China's banking system could block people out. And I was sitting there going like, and they were like happy and smiling like, yeah, this is a great idea. And I'm like, bro, this is what's coming for the rest of the world, and no one realizes it. COVID was just the start. Yeah. I believe that. And I'm not a tin hat type of guy, but I feel like my rights have been violated majorly. And I'm not like the hardcore crypto, like screw government type. I'm just like, yo, I want to be able to go visit my family without having to inject my body with something. You know what I mean? And like, I think that everyone should have that right.
Man, I feel you. It's like I have I have this like really weird feeling lately. You know, the past what is today? Tuesday. You know, we moved into to House of Dow. Basically, it's new, like this palm tree behind me. It's real. It's like, you know, like, I'm sitting on the patio in our working space, and you know, Thailand's borders have been closed for a long time without this massive quarantine period, and we just Phuket, where we are, just initiated this you know, this sandbox environment. And I feel so weird telling people that, hey, you know, like House of Dow is open, come on in, like great environment. Just make sure you got your vaccination before you come, you know, and that really bothers me, that you know, and it's horrible, man. And, you know, it's like, you're right. I mean, there's so much going on right now, you know,
real talk, Kyle, I have never seen so many people mildly depressed, including myself. I've noticed it. I have not ate I don't eat as much as I normally do. I'm not as excited about eating. I'm not as excited about stuff because I am basically stuck in a house all day, right? And like, no one's talking about this, right? In crypto, because it's not really relatable, but like, we're all working 16 hours a day. What's that taking? What kind of toll is it taking on us, right? Like, what type of toll is it taking on society? So we don't have to go and talk about crypto all the time. What is the situation in our world right now? How is it affecting the average person? Because I notice it. I don't know if you notice it, but I don't have the same social life. And when you don't have social life and friends and stuff, it affects you mentally. And there's a lot of studies that talked about even just going out for a drink with your friends once a week is a very good mental health thing for men. I've read many studies on this because I studied sociology and psychology in university as well. And I think that's a really interesting aspect, because I've noticed when I'm around friends, I light back up. But when I'm at home and I just find that like my energy is down, and it bothers me that I know that, because I'm a high energy person. And when I'm talking and I feel like I'm lethargic, that's weird for me. And I would love... This is big worm. This is exactly the problem. You know, it's just give
in. Just give in. This is just what, you know. This is a sheeple mentality. You know, this is exactly what they want you to do. You know, and it's horrible. You know, like I know people here in Phuket who have jobs. And if they want to keep their jobs, you know, because the requirements are that if you want someone to be able to go directly from their flight to your hotel or to your or whatever, you have to be SHA plus, which means 70% of your staff must be vaccinated. And so for a lot of people here, it's either their livelihood, their job, or they have to get vaccinated. And when you look into it, these vaccinations, it's not safe. Like they rush these things out in 6 months. It normally takes 5 or 6 years to do thorough testing on a vaccination. And not only that, but a few of these vaccinations are brand new technology, mRNA, which is like something that we've never ever used before.
Modifying our bodies, basically.
It's absolutely incredible that you guys,
the question I have for a lot of people is why. When I said, okay, when are my kids getting a vaccine? Because for me, I don't give a fuck if I die. I don't care. My kids, first and foremost, my kids are the most important part of my life. They're my kids, my family. I asked, when are they getting theirs? And you know what they said to me? They can't take a vaccine. I said, what the fuck? You can't. Well, you're asking me to take it. You gave my mom and my brother and my other brother the vaccine. You gave my stepdad the vaccine. Why can't my kids have the vaccine? Oh, it's not safe for them. I said, if it's not safe for them, how the fuck is it safe for me? Because look, Ronnie, I will take it just so that I can live my life and travel and do what I need to do, because I can't not take it for that reason. But it's messed up in this world that we live in that there can't be some other way. Like there has to be another way. And the last time I checked, we've been getting sick and dying our whole fucking lives. We've been getting H1N1 and all these other. Last time I checked, we didn't die. We didn't die.
Go for it, Ronnie. What do you think? What do you think, man? We're getting into this. This is not the direction that actually. No, it is exactly the direction that I wanted to go on this channel. I feel very strongly, about this. I'd love to know your opinion.
Yeah, of course. That's why I left Germany, because we was in Germany from January. Totally, it was not a lockdown, but there was no restaurant, no coffee. You could not be anywhere. You can just go to the supermarket, buy something, and that's it. So how could you socialize with anybody? You could not go to a hotel. If you want to go to a hotel, they say, okay, yeah, what you're doing here? What
should not be worse than the actual disease.
You could not even travel. So that's why I left. And here in Mexico, it's more open. Yeah, they ask you for the mask. There was some places where I was there with also other YouTubers. There was somebody, or there was almost nobody wearing a mask in Tulum. Now it's also changed, but. Here in Mexico, it's more free. And about the vaccine, I will never take it. Never, not me, not anybody of my family, because I'm sure that it's all made up. All this pandemic stuff, it's all made up, and I don't want to participate. Nobody knows what's the side effects of this vaccine. As you said, Kyle, they have to check this 5-6 years, and after 6 months, you are not able to know what happens.
Yeah,
I just look at it as a flu shot, man. Like we were forced to take the flu shot,
which we know the flu shots are like playing the lottery anyway. Sometimes people get the flu shots and still get the flu anyway.
Dude, I got the worst flu of my life when I got the only flu shot I ever took. I got the worst flu of my life that year, and I felt like I almost died. It was the worst flu I've ever had in my life. I puked to the point where I couldn't breathe. It was that bad. Yeah, and you know what? I probably, if I was older and had, health complications, I honestly think I could have died. I'm sure of it, because I couldn't breathe. And I was a healthy football player in college. I wish we could go on for another hour with the show, because I could talk about this for days. I mean, I just watched this. I don't know if you guys saw this. What is Brian Weinstein and Joe Rogan emergency podcast that was where they talked about ivermectin, which is basically, if you come to Thailand and you get a parasite, you go to the pharmacy, this is exactly what they give you. And over the counter, it's been, out for 40 years, won the Nobel Peace Prize. It's one of the most safest antivirals and antiparasitic drugs in the world. It's used to cure all kinds of things.
I won't go into the whole details, but I know that in these guys that came on Joe's show said that they gave it to like 780 frontline workers in hospitals that were, working on the front lines with all the COVID patients. They took that, no vaccine, and not one of them, and over the course like 4 months, got COVID. And not only that, but this doctor has been using it on his patients that did get COVID, and when they had early symptoms of it, it worked in like almost 95% of the people. It took it away right away. And if they use it as a prophylactic or for prevention, you also don't get COVID. So it's just, it's all massively fucked up. It's same thing with big pharma, and this is why America just kind of hoard itself out to big corporations. And this, I was having this conversation here at House of Dallas and people over here recently. And it's like, being an American, it's bittersweet, man. It gave me a lot of things that I love, like country music and barbecues and big trucks and, some of our roots. Right. And those things, you get as an American, but, and America was a great experiment, it was independence. We just had passed the 4th of July, made us think about, the fact that, we revolted about a 1%, tax increase. Boston Tea Party was literally raising the tax from 1% to 2%. And now we talk about, things like Biden and things like that, raising capital gains up to 40-something%. If our founding fathers would have been alive, to these days, it would have been a massive civil war. There's so much going on in the world. This is, and I can go on for hours and rant after rant about how ridiculous what is going on in the world is. And this is obvious that this is literally COVID is no worse than any other flu that has ever happened ever. There's no more people dying than the normal flu season, yet it is completely, there's obviously an agenda attached to this. Obviously, we are debasing the US dollar is being debased at a rate. The US dollar is being inflated at a rate that we've never seen before, 20-something% this year. And there's obviously an agenda. We're just going into a state right now where they're preparing a central bank digital currency. And what I believe that they're going to do, what I think, to prevent America from losing its power, they're going to run up the debt, print as much money as they can, prop up everything until they're ready for a great reset. And I don't even think they're hiding this. I think if you go to the World Economic Forum website, they call it the Great Reset. And so this is like something they're blatantly not even hiding. But my belief is that they're going to really run up the debt as high as possible, rug pull, crash the entire markets, and say, hey guys, the monetary system's totally broken. We'll blame that on our lineage. It's not my fault, of course. It never is my fault. Even though I printed more money in my term than anybody else. However, don't worry, we got a solution for it. It's called the digital dollar. And
it's called
the Fed coin, and they're going to wipe the balance clean and say, yeah, I know that I owe you a bunch of money, but what are you going to do? Because we've got nukes and the biggest army in the world. So are you going to try to challenge us? Good luck. Right. So, these are things that I think are quite obvious. I mean, all the signs are on the wall. There's no fucking way in the world that a flu Kyle, came out and put back.
Of course not.
The reality is, and this is the crazy part, is that everybody owes everybody every fucking penny of every dollar ever. There is no such fucking thing as currency because it's just made up bullshit. We've been doing this since the times, man. We used to fucking use coral shells in like on coastal westernized colonies, using coral shells as a form of currency. People used to use sand dollars as forms of currency. We are the ones who decide what currency, what is valuable to us. And then it's after the fact that, yes, okay, it is valuable or not, because all of us agree that it is. So Bitcoin, people said it would never be worth anything. But the fact of the matter is people over time valued it enough that it became worth something. And over time, the more adoption that came, the more people valued it. And now you got guys like Elon Musk and Michael Saylor talking about Bitcoin, and everyone thinks, okay, now it's real. Now it's a real thing. And I think that a lot of people need to come to the realization that like money is just a thing that we use to value for ourselves. That's why we don't value Zimbabwean money, but we value US dollars. Why? Because we are told that it's valuable based off of the country backing it, or the military actually, in this case, backing it. Because what backs the US dollar? Nothing. They're US military. They're nukes. And the thing is, if China wanted to really challenge them, we would all die. That's the reality. It'd be like a Fear the Walking Dead situation where they'd nuke us all and we'd all die. So the reality is there is no way to win and there is no control. We have to accept or not accept things, and that's up to us. And we are the ones in control.
Yeah, look, in Argentina, for example, if you say, "Oh no, I just believe, I don't believe in crypto. I believe in the currency, in the state currency, so that's backed." So they just closed the banks. Okay, you could not take out any money for a few days, and you saw your money going down against the dollar. You could not just take your money out. They say, "Okay, the bank is closed." You know, so then I'm asking myself, so how secure is the currency of the government? And there are still people that don't get it. You know, it's just paper.
Ronnie,
made
I'll
up.
ask you a question. The money you have in the bank, guys, how much of it is insured? If you have $1 million in the bank, how much of that $1 million in your bank account? How much?
100K.
100K. Thank you.
And
so you guys think that your money is safe in a bank? When banks went belly up during 2008, guess who got wrecked? Not the big boys. They got bailed out. You motherfuckers got wrecked. That's what happens when you put your money in a bank. This is why we have devices like a Trezor or a Ledger, because this little thing is your bank. That's your bank. The little piece of device right there. And you can have many banks. You can make your own banks. The point is you are in control of your money. The bank can tell you, sorry, tomorrow. Well, you have $1 million in the bank. Sorry, we're not giving it to you. The government told us not to, so we can't. What are you gonna do?
We got a world that is that you guys can choose to participate in. You can and we've got obviously governments, which is very interesting. This is, you know, I mean, El Salvador was extremely interesting because we have seen other world leaders who challenge or oppose the US dollar, like Gaddafi and things like that. That as soon as they said, no, we're not using your dollar as a medium of exchange, they were executed. But now we see a world where certain countries are choosing to adopt a open, transparent, decentralized, peer-to-peer public network that cannot be manipulated. You know, it's transparent and mutable. And then we have countries that are building the most dystopian type of currency system ever created, which is just a central bank digital dollar. And you guys get to choose which one you want to participate in. This is the interesting thing moving forward. And, you know, this is why I chose an exodus from the United States. And this is exactly why we're building House of DAO, is to, you know, everyone who's out there who's relating to the things that we're saying right now, everyone who feels us, you know, do not want to get caught up in you know, in just becoming a sheep. You know, come out and have and participate and be surrounded by people and help us, you know, create ways to change this. You know, we're looking. Like the world is approaching a very interesting place. You know, that news of Wyoming adopting a DAO structure, that's the very first step in a new form of governance. You know, DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization, which is a new way to govern an entire system. And so there's an opportunity here for some massive change. And this is what inspired me to get involved in Bitcoin so much. And I really would love to sit here and talk about this for hours more, but I have a call to take in a couple minutes. I just wanted to remind you guys, in the link below, there's a GLEAM campaign. I told you about it before. You know, we are doing this huge giveaway for all you guys. You know, all you have to do is show up, comment, subscribe, like, share with everybody. You know, right now it's already worth $150,000 almost, and a lot of these projects haven't even launched. And yeah, seriously, I think we got to do. We should do another show like on
Yeah,
just bullshit, man, macro bullshit, because there's so much that you know I'd love to talk about, that I feel so strongly about. I mean, everything from education to, you know, to governments to all these kind of things. But you guys, thank you for coming on. There was a lot that I wanted to talk about tonight that we didn't get to, but you know, I'm glad that we did get to talk about things that we did, because it feels good to get off my chest. So thanks for coming on board, guys. Ronnie, thanks for coming on for the first time. And Coach, thanks for coming back, man. Let's do something on your channel this week and keep it going.
Good. Absolutely, man.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Perfect. Cheers,
Thanks
guys.
very much. Thank you, everybody, for watching.
Everybody have a good night.
See you
Cheers.
soon.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.